Hey, this is the Razer Pro Click V2 wireless, and this mouse is kind of confused. It looks like an office mouse. It has productivity features. It wants to compete with something like the Logitech MX Master. But deep inside, it is still very much a Razer mouse, which means gaming sensor, RGB lighting, programmable buttons, and software that makes you feel like you accidentally opened a gaming PC control center during your work meeting. I went to CenterCon for a racing simulator, but I picked this up at the end as it was for $169 and it was on discount that time. So I was like, maybe just to test, as it's not normal that a gaming brand is doing an office mouse. It's not cheap, but with all the editing, work, and gaming I do, my wrist deserves a bit of luxury, right? I am Ellie. If you think this video is helpful, don't forget to like and give me a sub. Let's start from the unboxing. First impression. This mouse is definitely bigger than I expected. It has that classic Razer black finish, but instead of looking like a normal gaming mouse, it sits almost upright. And when you first hold it, yeah, it feels weird, but that's kind of the whole point. The design puts your hand into more of a handshake position, which is what vertical mice are made for. This one has a pretty steep 71.7 degree angle designed to keep your hand in a more natural position and help reduce wrist strain. It also feels quite heavy in the hand. I don't think this is designed for competitive gaming, especially compared with the other Razer mice I've used and reviewed before. This feels much more like a productivity mouse. Looking at the bottom of the mouse, you've got the connection mode button, the sensor, right in the middle, and a storage slot for the wireless dongle. There are also the friction pads around the base. This mouse also supports wired connection. As you can see in the box, a USB to Type-C wire is there. Now, let's talk about how to connect it. So you've basically got three options: hyperspeed with the dongle, Bluetooth, or wired connection. For wireless, you can connect it using Razer's Hyperspeed Wireless, which is basically the 2.4 GHz dongle connection. This is the one I'd use if I want the most stable and responsive connection, especially on my main PC. You can also use Bluetooth if you want to connect to a laptop or switch between devices more easily. And if you prefer wired or the battery is low, you can plug it in with the cable and keep using it while charging. Once it's connected, Razer Synapse can be used to customize the mouse. You can adjust things like DPI, button functions, scroll settings, lighting, and different profiles. Synapse does make the mouse feel a lot more powerful, but it also feels very Razer. Even though this is meant to be a productivity mouse, the software still gives you the gaming device control center experience. The Pro Click V2 Vertical Edition has 6 buttons and you can customize them. It also comes with this AI prompt master shortcut. If you press and hold the button for more than 1 second, an AI interface pops up with quick shortcuts like summarize and rewrite. In theory, I can see why this sounds useful. You can quickly open an AI assistant, generate prompts, or use it as part of your workflow. But in real life, I think people will either love this feature or immediately remap the button to something more practical. For me personally, I don't think I'd use it much. I'd rather just go directly to ChatGPT or Copilot myself. So for my workflow, this AI button feels a bit unnecessary. Synapse is powerful, but I'll be honest, it can feel a bit much for an office mouse.
So why do I actually like this mouse? First, the sensor is excellent. It feels accurate, responsible, and probably more powerful than most people need for normal office work. And the sound of the clicks feels so good, right? Secondly, the battery life is super strong, which is exactly what I want from productivity mouse. I don't want to keep changing my mouse every few days, not like the other gaming mice. And thirdly, the build quality feels solid. It feels premium in the hand. And for $169, that's what I'd expect. But there are a few things I don't like. The biggest thing is the weight. The mouse is heavy. For work, that makes it feel stable. But when I use it for faster games, my hand actually gets sore. So if you're buying it mainly for competitive gaming, I don't think this is the right mouse. Second, the shape has a learning curve. If you have never used a vertical mouse before, don't expect to feel instantly accurate. Your hand needs time to adjust, especially because the angle is so different from the normal mouse. And next one is the AI assistant button is useless for me. I know it sounds cool on paper, but in real life, I'd rather go directly to the AI website itself. So I have remapped it to something different like screenshot. And the mouse has a lot of features that many office users probably don't need. The high-end sensor, the RGB, AI shortcut, and all the actual customization are nice. But if you are only buy it for office work, the main reason to get it is really the ergo design. So, well, I think this mouse makes sense if you want a vertical mouse and still feels premium. It's not cheap and it's not for everyone, but if you spend long hours on the desk, you like a Razer brand, probably you can give it a go. That's it. I'm Ellie. See you next time.